Good morning, it's your boy Terrell's taking a quick walk. You know, happy Thursday. Not just any happy Thursday, we're 2 days out from the premiere of Game of Thrones Season 7. And if you're like me, you've been looking forward to this. Our normal rhythm as Game of Thrones fans, it comes in April, it goes in June. This year in particular, it's coming in end of July. And a lot of that was in large measure to the fact that they had to make the seasons match. Right now they're in winter. So they had to film, at a different sequence to make winter and make the show more, kind of believable. So they had to make everything match on location. But we're down to 7 episodes, so they're going to be longer and more action packed. I'm looking forward to it. We pick up where we left off, season 6. Season 6, the way it ended was great. It's showing the two major characters, Jon, Daenerys, consolidating power. We go to the King of the North coronation. Again, Jon comes to power in an unexpected way, sort of how he became Night's watch commander. He's sitting at a table, and all of a sudden, someone speaks up for him. In this case, it was Lady Mormont, referred to also as Little Bear, speaking up for him and really making the argument that, hey, he fought the fight on the battlefield. Doesn't matter that he is a bastard. He's a Stark in every way, and he should be the King of the North. That sort of snowballed over to the Glovers and the Mandalays, who, if those two armies had combined with Jon on the battlefield, they would have matched or exceeded Ramsay's forces, the way it's laid out in the books and the way it's laid out in the show. So a little bit of that was guilt, the way that last, kind of segment was put out, but a little of that was politics. They were really trying to make sure their position was the same, because they saw the train leaving the station. Jon was going to be the King of the North. And you have to think, you have these smaller families who put in on the battlefield when, it wasn't really probably the best political thing to do, probably not the most tactical thing to do when you look at how bad they were outnumbered on the battlefield. So Jon, in consolidating power, is going to have a political challenge with the smaller houses, because with the Boltons being defeated, the Dreadfort, the whole Dreadfort holding is wide open. With the Humbers being defeated, the last hearth near the wall, all that area is now open. And the Griff, the area that's, fertile farmland that was to be given to the wildlings. So all these things are now up for grabs and up to be determined by a King of the North, and how things are divided, equitably and evenly. But then you still have the threat of the White Walkers and, the Army of the Dead. So that puts, Jon having to negotiate with Daenerys, because as we know from the show, Dragon Glass is a big thing at Dragonstone, and she's going to make a stop at Dragonstone on her way to King's Landing, as we saw in the last scene where she was, on the boat with the Dothraki, with the Unsullied. She's consolidated her forces. She looks great. Got the 3 dragons, but she'll make her stop at Dragonstone, and at which point Jon will have to go there and try to negotiate for access to the Dragon Glass and access to it for autonomy, to kind of be left alone as King of the North. The show kind of left open the idea that you can negotiate with Daenerys when Yara and Theon, went there to negotiate with her about things they needed in the Iron Islands. And she left open the idea saying, well, everybody's free to negotiate their kind of own terms. When Tyrion questioned, whether if everybody asks for their freedom, do you give it? So that's kind of out there, where you'll see probably an alliance there, but you'll also probably see an alliance with Euron, their uncle, and Cersei, because remember, he's months and months behind. He has to build ships, and he's been kind of cut off at the pass. So the ships are now with Daenerys. She's taken that deal. So his natural deal is really to get with Cersei and try to make a unity of marriage and give her the ships, because she's down to really no allies in her situation. So that's where it gets interesting. It's this realignment. In Game of Thrones, the sides picking up. Jon, while he leaves for Dragonstone to make a negotiation, he'll leave the back door open, so to speak, for Littlefinger. And Littlefinger's going to probably be in Sansa's head to try to convince her that she should have power at Winterfell. which is going to create more headaches, more problems. You have Bran migrating his way back to Winterfell, Arya going back to Winterfell, so that will change the house dynamic, that House Stark, so to speak, how things will go there. Tyrion will be key, for Daenerys and her war to come, because they're probably going to attack Lannisport to really hit at the heart of the power for the Lannisters, where all their gold is kept, Casterly Rock and all that stuff. They're probably going to look to attack all of that stuff to really deliver her defeat, an economic defeat, public relations defeat, before they make their final movement toward King's Landing. And that would track with what the Robb Stark was looking to do when he was on the road, try to defeat the Lannisters. So we're seeing themes that are revisited. We're seeing armies being formed, and they're being formed out of these leaders, total experience. You look at Jon, building those relationships with the wildlings, building those relationships with the different houses, as he moved along. That became his army. Look at Daenerys going through all she went through with the Dothraki, the Unsullied, Slaver's Bay, freeing slaves. Now they're part of her army. So you have these two, main characters who, through the totality of their experience of amassing an army, of mass power, it's great. But we're looking at Cersei. Do the Lannisters beat the spread again? Season 7 is going to be really interesting to see how that plays out and who sides up with who, because right now they look like they're on the ropes, but last few seasons they've looked the same, like they've been on the ropes, and they found ways to slip through. We'll see how it all plays out this season. Have a good one.